Good afternoon. It's Thursday, July 9th, 2026. And I'm Kelly, Grace Nakin, Draka Mother Shaman, the Flame of Amarea, Ophiuchus, the 13th zodiac sign. I am the 13th pillar of that is spoken about within the Cloister Duratura plate records. The CDD plate records, which is the holographic discs that contain the origins of our localized Kathara grid, as well as the Kathara grid and Kathara true tree of life of the morphogenetic blueprint of the divine celestial angelic human beings that we are and were created to be. We are 12-strand DNA, bioengineered avatars, stuck in D3, D4. We have 12-strand DNA potential, which means that we have 12th dimension capability, potential within our own biology and nervous system. This is sage. It's just an air purifier. It's an aura purifier. It has been scientifically proven to kill 99% of airborne pathogens and bacteria, etc. Proven to do so, and it's good to clear and cleanse any auric energy, ethereal attachment energy regularly. And our devices, especially when we use videos on live and their televisions and everything, they're portals. Everything is energy. And the purpose of this live transmission is to broadcast my unfiltered, undistorted, raw, energetic frequency out onto the grid, the Metatronic frequency net grid, the matrix simulation, because my genetic coding as the 13th pillar of my biological avatar has now contained and overwritten the containment net field. Which means, all that means is that the shadow entities are no longer in control of the Metatronic cube technology. That is the purpose of the biological avatar of the 13th pillar, as the anchor of that energetic frequency of the axis. And also to unite the Mother Arc and Father Arc codes that were input successfully into the biological genetics of the celestial humans in the time of Yeshua, also known as Jesus Christ, through Mary Magdalene. Miriam, also known as Mary Magdalene, and Yeshua had a mission at that time that the main mission was not successful. However, they were successful in getting the Mother Arc and Father Arc codes into the genetic bloodlines. which is now encoded within my own personal genetics. And the mission that they started in their timeline is what the 13th pillar is also here to finish, which is creating the Christos consciousness biological avatar that is meant to broadcast the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint and solidify it into the grid to enable all humans the opportunity to activate and stabilize their full 12 trillion, their full DNA strand potential. Death was really not part of the process, and death isn't what you think. It's just a transition of energy. We are in a loop that can be assimilated as a video game. And when you die, you go through the reincarnation loop of karma. Now, we are lied to about everything about our creation and about who we are. And we have 3 years to raise our vibration as human, celestial, divine humans, beings, I meant. Divine, celestial, angelic human beings. There we go. We have 3 years to raise our vibration individually so that collectively we can help the planet raise its vibration up through and above the frequency net before the dissolution and collapse of 2033. By 2030, the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint will be broadcast onto the grid, permanently solidifying the timelines. So if your own internal D4 magnetic vibration is not vibrating above the frequency net by year 2030, and the summer solstice to be precise, you will not ascend into the new earth. You will get stuck with the old earth and the Armageddon agenda of the dogma of religions, and eventually dissolve and disappear into stardust, ultimately resulting in returning to source as stardust, which means not having any memory of it having existed ever. Everything is a spiral, and time is not linear. Everything's happening at the same time. I am on day 17 of the gestation of the atom seed that was activated within my own genetic code on Father's Day, June 21st, 2026. This is my life purpose and this is my mission. The atom seed is the Christos consciousness. It's the true crystalline morphogenic blueprint of the celestial divine human being. In order to dissolve and raise the vibration of the planet, it has to be done in a gentle way. Otherwise, most of us would get caught in the lower vibrational bandwidth of the snap. And simply because we don't know who we are and we're stuck in the lower bandwidth, mainly because of our thinking and because we're ignorant to the truth. So the purpose is to wake up. And now is the best time. The alignment of the cosmos from micro to macro. The age of Aquarius. Astrology is our map. Your natal blueprint, your natal chart is your blueprint, is your own personal map to your place within this timeline and how to navigate it. The bottom line, though, you guys, is we need to start raising our vibration. We need to start becoming aware of who we are and start recognizing that love is the answer. It's the answer. We need to activate our 12-strand DNA, and we need to learn what that means. And Kalantic science is the pathway to doing that. And you can find resources on YouTube. I posted videos on my channel, on my Facebook feed, that you can look into, and I shared it with a lot of other, with a lot of individuals. I encourage you to take the time to look into it. I know that life is busy. That's the distraction. I suppose I've been blessed. The universe has blessed me with the path that I've been on to be able to heal in the manner that I have in order to fulfill the prophecy through this avatar. But I would like to clarify that I personally didn't really have a choice in the matter. Not like most of you do. Okay? Because this avatar was bioengineered and genetically coded to do this job. And it's the only one coded to do it. So I followed this path blindly my whole life, up until just a few months ago. And up to a few months ago, the only reason why I learned was because I'm the master key. The lock had been opened. The information was able to find me when it was supposed to. And I went through the process of stabilizing and activating my DNA, but I was born with an online nervous system, with my DNA online. Therefore, the process of activating and stabilizing wasn't as grueling or as some of the processes or rituals that most have to do so, I didn't have to do. And my journey in the last 6 months was very, very strange, you guys. It's because I have a claircognizance. And that's something I've carried my whole life. And if those of you who've known me for any amount of time have seen that gift come up in me, my clair-knowing. And I also have clairsentience, where where my body responds to energy because I carry the HLIB27 gene, which is the antenna for this precise moment in time, in order to carry the bandwidth of the energy frequency that's meant to be the 13th pillar in order to rewrite the codes of the Matrix and the Metatronic Black Cube technology that we have been trapped in for ages, for a long time. Today, July, especially from micro to macro, when we look at the sky and we look at our natal chart and we compare it to the Cloister Juratura records and the cosmos, we'll be able to tell our own personal path. It's the cipher key to knowing our mission. And then taking the time to not be reactive to life. And understand that none of this is real. Reality is not what we think it is, and we need to stop co-signing and consenting to the distortion by participating in it. And I know that sounds really weird, and it's hard. And it's hard to wrap your hand around the concept, because I get it. I've spent the last 6 months struggling with my intuition, between my instincts and my intuition, and what the 3D world tells me I have to be and do. But that's not... But the more and more that I try to be a part of that box, the less and less I can be in it, the less and less I can function as the human that I am, simply because that limits me beyond the capacity of me able to function. And being neurodivergent and finding out that I'm autistic and with the ADHD tendencies makes sense to me now, why my learning has always been so strange. But it's also because my brain thinks on a multidimensional level, and thinking on the linear level this has been a struggle. This journey has been a struggle for me. My humanness has been hard for me. And then finding out that my whole life has been about this day time and age in this timeline, in this generation. And then even knowing my previous incarnations, my past lives, because I've tapped into my DNA, you guys. Everything you need to know about yourself is within your own body. You have to align your chakras, unblock your chakras, be healthy within your body, align within your body. Science and spirituality are the one and the same, and it's called Keylontic science. And we as human beings need to learn that we have been confined and lied to. And we need to start waking up to that fact and start doing something about it. And we only have 3 years. See, and that's the thing that, like, why I get up here every day even though I feel tired, and I don't feel like, I mean, for the first time in my life, I actually feel like I have a message and something to say, and nobody wants to listen. I mean, something real to say and know the truth of it, because I feel it within my body, and nobody wants to listen because I know I sound crazy. I know that I sound like a lunatic, and that's okay. In the eyes of the third dimension reality, I am. I'm cuckoo. But in the eyes of true reality and my true ascension and in the overall end game, I'm not crazy at all. I'm the most on point that I know around, close to me, and that's a lonely place to be. And the more and more that I activate and stabilize myself, and see, I don't have a choice in the matter, and I carry the Adam seed, which is, for me, I understand the concept. I understand the concept. I understand what Joshua and Miriam were intending to do and were unsuccessful at doing in their timeline that I'm here to finish. And okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I struggle with that truth. I struggle. Right now, it's an intuitive idea because, yes, I understand, and the research and the decoding that I've done points and says, the prophecy says, June 21st of 2026 is when the Adam seed is activated. The Adam seed code is activated within the 13th pillar, who has united the mother and father arc code. Well, I'm the 13th pillar. This biological avatar is the 13th pillar. I know that I carry the father arc code, the HLA-B27 gene. My past lives prove that I'm also the mother arc incarnation. My surnames also prove that my bloodline carries the codes. So I set out to disprove the fact that once I figured out that, oh, this is me, now I don't want it. I didn't want it at first. I was scared. That scared me. That scared me. That's a lot of responsibility, a lot of accountability, and who the fuck am I? Who am I? Why did I get this gift, burden? Both. It's one of those ultimate paradoxes. But the thing is just because this particular biological avatar was tasked with doing this particular part of the prophecy doesn't mean that I'm doing this alone. This is not my own burden to carry. I cannot do it alone. I need you. I need support from my tribes to help do what it is that we were actually all here created to do. The real mission that we are here to fulfill is to help the planet ascend and evolve into the higher dimensions in the harmonic fields. And we were never meant to be in the third dimension. This was the lowest and densest dimension, and we were never meant to be this far down into the harmonics field. But this was done to us. And it's why when we get here, our memory, we don't remember. It's because of the bandwidth, it's because of the low density of the bandwidth, as well as the cappage that's been done within our own genetic codes, our own DNA, the distortions that have been done, as well as the hybridisms that have occurred from other alien extraterrestrial beings. Yes, they're real. We are the babies of creations. We are the babies, but we also have the greatest creative potential within our DNA. We were meant to be the guardians of this planet. We were meant to evolve into the guardians of this planet. This planet was our nursery, and then it was hijacked by alien factions, different alien factions, and throughout different time lines within the spiral loop. Again, I'm talking about Keylontic science. It is the science of spirituality. Spirituality and science are one and the same, and we need to learn that our intuition is real. It's more real than our meat suit is. This avatar that we walk around in is the most temporary thing that we have. Everything around us isn't real. It's temporary. We are eternal. We are eternal. The vessels are what's not eternal. We are, though. We switch out avatars every time a death occurs. It's just a transition of energy. Our soul matrix, our soul Cathara grid, just transitions into another realm. And usually it's in the 4D. The 4D and 5D is where we go, well, the 4D is where we go when we die, and because of the Metatronic cube technology that's been set in place, our soul gets recycled in what's called a karmic loop in the Akashic records, and they use our love against us because we are source, we are love, and they use it against us to guilt us into consenting us to return back into their reincarnation karmic loop, where they feed off of our emotional, orgasmic, and vitality, life energy, our essence, our quintessence. And what we see in this day and age with Alzheimer's showing up so much is a result of that. It's a consequence of that siphoning for so much, for so long. It's those souls, the God spark within the matrix, the Cathar grids of the individuals going out. And I don't know how else to explain that in a better way to understand if you don't look into the science and do the research yourself, which I encourage you to do. This is the most important thing that we can learn. And I don't care which side of the fence you are with when it comes to religion or not, because that's a moot point. That's a distraction that's meant to separate us. We are not separated. I am you, and you are me. I don't know, like I said, these live broadcasts are simply because as the 13th pillar and anchoring the genetic coding that's overriding the Metatronic cube technology, and who, as carrying the activated atom seed, I am meant to broadcast my personal genetic coding signature onto the Metatronic grid that my genetic coding has now overwritten, without distortions and being unfiltered in its pure integral energetic frequency. That's what the purpose of these live feeds, these live transmissions are really about. It isn't about me having an audience. It's not even about me at all. Honestly, it's about the frequency and about the energetic frequency that I'm anchoring as being the biological avatar, anchoring the energetic frequency as the 13th pillar, which is spoken about in the prophecy that you can find within the Cloister Duratura plate records. In the prophecy that they speak of within it. That's what I'm talking about. Keylontic science, the Cathara grid, the true tree of life that is spoken and found within the Cloister Duratura plate records. And the Cloister Duratura plates are holographic discs that were created by an extraterrestrial race millions of years ago that contain the origin of our localized time Cathara grid matrix and the origins of the divine celestial angelic human and the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint and the true 12 DNA potential of celestial divine humans that we were created to be and are and have the potential to become. As I said, I'm day 17 in the activation of the Adam seed, which is 1,314 days of gestation and maturation. The year 2030, the summer solstice of 2030, the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint, the true Christos consciousness of the divine celestial angelic human beings will be fully broadcast and solidified within the frequency net of our grid, anchored by the Adam seed. The Adam seed will have been matured by then. It's going to take approximately 3 years and 9 months. That's 1,314 days. And that countdown started on June 21st, 2026, Father's Day. The activation is occurring within my own genetics. It's a code that was activated within my genetic code as the 13th pillar, as a biological avatar for the 13th pillar to fulfill the prophecy of overriding the frequency net and allowing true divine celestial angelic human beings to be able to evolve into their true potential. My genetic codes has overwritten the false light matrix. The Barb Holtz basket on July 21st is a super significant cosmological event happening. Our reality is going to shift. Everything that we think we know about our existence is false. And all of that is about to come to light in the next few months. Everything you think you know is going to change. So all the running around that you do and all the busy stuff that you do and all this busy work and everything that you think that matters, you need to realize isn't going to matter real soon. And I'm not saying that to be threatening, so I have no idea what that means, what that really looks like. I just know that it is. It's a certainty. And I know that there's agendas on the table by shadow entities that are fear-based. I know that it's going to cause a lot of chaos. I'm here to try to help anchor in the frequency of stability and to help anybody who will listen understand that you don't have to be caught up in the chaos. It's a distraction. It's keeping you in that fear-based loop in the lower vibrational bandwidth that's going to get you caught up in the snap. And I'm urging you to hear, listen to the words that I say. Feel the frequency coming from my heart space. Resonate with the truth that I'm speaking and know the urgency within it. This could be the most important thing that you could ever do. This is the most important thing that you could be focusing on, that you could be paying your attention to. We need to be teaching our kids how to manually override our nervous system so that they know how not to be in flight or flight mode. Teaching them alternate nostril breathing techniques first thing in the morning as kids is a good, do it with them. Practice with them. The things that I'm teaching you as adults that you claim you don't have time for because you have kids or you have this or that, that's not acceptable. I don't accept the excuses because this is the stuff that we should be teaching our kids. Okay, this isn't an isolated my information. This should be incorporated into our homes and into our lifestyle, into our families and into our interactions in our communities. This is the transition that we need to start making. We need to stop making excuses for why we can't and start realizing that we must. Or we become dust. What path do you want for you and your children? And this isn't, I'm not trying to jump on the fear base. I'm not trying to fear base anything. I'm urging you from my heart space to wake up and listen, hear the truth, and recognize that your existence isn't your truth. And the thing is I know that most of you know this. Most of you know that what I'm saying is true, that your existence isn't your truth. It's not even close to being your truth. And most of you just don't know how to not shift into a life that looks like your truth. And I'm trying to show you, guide you. I'm trying to give you a tether, an anchor, a stabilizing frequency to jump onto so you can ride the wave through the change and get an understanding, if you do the research of Keylontic science and the Cathar Grid True Tree of Life through the Cloister Duratura Plate Records. This isn't me channeling niceness or nuances or feel good ideas or me looking for a handout, or this is me urging my fellow humans to wake up. I don't need anything from anybody except for you to rise and raise your own vibration and to live from your heart space on purpose. Stop being in flight or fight mode and consenting to the box and constraints of the matrix, and start realizing that you are meant and created for more, and that you yourself have a personal life mission within the prophecy being fulfilled today in real time. Every single one of you do. I implore you to please just take a look inside yourself. That's where your answers are. In your own genetics, in your own natal chart, in your own DNA, in your own bloodline, in your own family line, your ancestral line, in your own inner self within you. Take the time to learn how to heal your body, hydrate, and breathe. Stop operating every moment from limbic hijack. You can't heal that way, nor are you projecting a reality that's true to you. If you are doing so, you are just creating more of the same chaos, more of the same trauma. You need to ground your nervous system before you interact with this dimension, or you're not going to change your life. You start by hydrating. Structured water. Simple structure is just swirling the water and waking up the molecules and talking to it. Water has memory. We are water. The second thing is our breath. Breathing from our diaphragm and allowing our body to have oxygen. Our brain cannot work and think without oxygen saturation. None of our organs, our lungs, our liver, our kidneys, none of them work properly without proper oxygen saturation. And if you are living in fight or flight mode, you are not breathing properly. Guarantee it. If you want to heal your body and you want to change your life, learn how to breathe properly. And you can manually biohack our bioengineered avatars. The meat suits we walk around in are bioengineered organic technology and can be manually biohacked if you learn the techniques and the technology of ascension mechanics, which is found within Keylontic science and the true grid, the Kathara grid, the true tree of life. Say you're too busy and you're making excuses, you're too busy to learn how to meditate, you're too busy to learn how to sit still, you're too busy to learn how to breathe. What are you too busy doing? How important really is it? And we all have the same amount of 24-hour days time in a day. Now, with that being said, not all of us flow through the time matrix at the same speed. Our own personal gravity and our own personal morphogenetic blueprint, our own personal vortex is what dictates our own personal timeline speed and aging. Just keep that in mind. Just because there's a 24-hour period in a day doesn't mean that my 24-hour period is the same as your 24-hour period. And that's why some experience slower, because time is not linear, you guys. It's not. It's a spiral, and everything's happening at the same time. And we are not the only beings in the universe. We are not the only beings in creation. In fact, we're the babies of creation, and there are so many more other beings out there around us that we talk to and interact with every day, as a matter of fact, okay? So just, all of this is going to be coming out soon, though. Our reality is about to change. So humans, we really need to get used to the idea that we're not alone. Oh, and that we might not also be as human as we think. That's the other part of that, too. That we may not be as human as we thought we were. As a matter of fact, and a lot of us aren't. Especially indigos. And just simply because of the genetics that have been messed with and the hybrid experience that have been going on, that our government has allowed. And some of you as souls consented to before you incarnated into this timeline, into this time matrix, into this timeline. Just so you know, because some of you agreed to it before you got here. But because this is such a lower bandwidth dimension, we forget as soon as we get here, and that's also due to that. Well, the memory loss is mostly due to because of the bandwidth. It has less to do with the frequency field than it does with the bandwidth of the third dimension. We were created in the fifth dimension, not the third. And then we were forced here through calamities, through what's, biblical accounts say the fall. But there's more than one, and there's just like there's been more than one seeding onto the planet. Oh, and I just, for a little side joke, or side note, for some of you, for the argument for the flat earthers and the round earthers, check it out. Use some common sense about what we know about basic physics. Both of you guys have compelling, and I've been on the fence for a long time, until I came down to earth, I'll admit it, because everything's a lot more simpler than we want to make it, you guys. So, look, check it out. All these, your arguments are great, they're compelling, and you put in both sides have put in a lot of effort to prove their point. But let's just get back to simplicity and back to basics. To me, the dimensions, because that's what we live in. We live in dimensions. D1, D2, and D3 one is harmonic field 1. It's the one that's furthest away from source, and it's the slowest moving dimension. That means that the particles that we're made of, the energy bits that we're made of, move and vibrate the slowest here, which is why everything takes so long to manifest. So, when we think about that, we know that D1, dimension 1, is just a dot. It's just, there's nothing there, just a point. Dimension 2 is a line on that point. It's now a flat plane, right? Dimension 1 is that point, but now that dimension 2, now that point has expanded. The particle, that point has expanded into a plane. So now it can be flat, but it can move only in a straight line. It can't move up and down. It can't move around things. Okay? So when it's a plane. But so if you come up on a construct, let's say a circle, and you're a line, because you're a plane, you're a line, you come up to, you can't tell, when you come to the circle, you're stopped, you're at a stopping point. And the only way that you're going to be able to understand the shape of that circle, or that shape of that whatever's stopping you, is by traveling around the entire shape in order to determine that whether it's a circle or a square, right? Well, that's the second dimension. That's a plane. We're a plane. Everything's flat. There's nothing there. It's flat. And anything else on that thing is a block. It's... Right? You get it? So then in the third dimension, so same with, I'm talking about that circle on the plane. It's a plane. It's a circle. Okay, so that would be a flat Earth, right? In dimension 2, Earth is flat. So you're right, flat Earthers. You're absolutely right. Earth is flat. But Earth is only flat in dimension 2. Okay? So, all you flat Earthers, your thinking is stuck in the second dimension. If you can't see that circle in the plane of the second dimension, once it ascends into the third dimension, it now becomes a sphere. Right? That's the law of the physics. That is how the physics work within the dimensions. Quantum physics, basic common sense. You go from a plane, a circle on a plane, into the third dimension, you now got a sphere. You've now got the ball. So I hope anybody that's listening cares. That ends your argument. Simplicity really is the answer. What does the dimensions look like? The Earth exists in all dimensions. Or has. There's a morphogenetic blueprint.
Did you guys see the girl who took one of
in every dimension, just like there's a morphogenetic blueprint.
At 2 a.m. Yeah, I thought it was a joke too.
Celestial divine humans. There's one for the planet also. And that's the point. That's ascension and evolution. and we ascend and evolve with the planet. And that's what we need to do in the next 3 years. Now, here, the thing about that, though, is Mother Earth's heartbeat, her core D4 magnetic has already raised her own vibration. We're pretty secure in feeling and knowing that those of us who have been on this path of ascension and evolution with the planet and have been doing the work, we're pretty confident that we don't need the rest of you to get there now. That the agenda is set in place. But it would be much nicer if y'all came along. It would be great to help everybody ascend. Love is the answer. Love is the answer, guys. We don't have to be stuck in this chaos and distorted reality. We don't have to do that. Love is the answer. Malachite. I've been working with Malachite lately. I highly recommend it. It's great for releasing blockages within the D4 chakra. Powerful stone. Well, let's see how Source would like us to take care of ourselves today. Self-Care Cards by Cheryl Richardson. Got them from a good dear friend of mine a long time ago. She sponsored me in my recovery from addiction for a while. She gave me those cards. She's a very great woman, beautiful heart. Love her to death. Or I love her to pieces is probably better. Or I just love her. I love her wholeheartedly. That's probably better. We need to really be careful about the words that we speak and how we speak. Because we really do cast spells and curse each other without knowing it. Although our intent has more to do with it than anything, than the words we actually speak. Our intent and emotion behind the words that we is what gives them true life. So just keep that in mind. That's power of manifestation. It isn't, and affirmations. It isn't just speaking out loud, because that's important. Your voice carries light, sound, and symbols. Light, sounds, and symbols is how we manifest and how we create in the third dimension. As above, so below. That means what we think, we create. It's just the slowest dimension. And we need to not give up on our blessings and lose faith and drop down into the lower vibrational thinking before our blessing shows up. And most of us are guilty of that because of how slow time is. And then usually right before we get a breakthrough or our abundance shows up, our whole world will collapse. Our entire life will fall to pieces like a full-on tower moment before it happens. Or we consume into the despair of the collapse of that shattered citadel, and then block our own blessing. We drop too low into the bandwidth and miss it. That happens a lot. And it's because we don't understand the concept of how we are created. But that's not our fault. We're not taught the right things. We're not given the right information. But the right information is Keylontic science. It's the Cathara grid, the true tree of life. The Cloister Duratura plate records contain the truth. Please do your research. Do what it takes to put in the effort to raise your own vibration. Start by allowing yourself to be in parasympathetic nervous system mode, safe mode, before you interact with the world. You cannot heal your body unless you are in safe mode. Right? Rest and digest. If your vagus nerve is off, and you can stimulate your vagus nerve with humming with your tongue on top of the roof of your mouth, right between your teeth, that's how to stimulate and soothe your vagus nerve. We're not taught this stuff in anatomy class as a caregiver. We're not taught this stuff in health class in high school or junior high, are we? No, not even remotely close. This information is hard to find, but it's called biohacking, our bioengineered organic template. So Source is saying for self-care today, magnificence. I'm trying to find my glasses, I apologize. Here we go. Own your magnificence. The world needs your brilliance and grace. Own your magnificence. The world needs your brilliance and grace. Yeah, it's a very gentle card. She's very soft. Lots of purples. Purple is color of royalty. We got the burgundy or mauve, whatever, which is, it's another form of purple, but it's got more of a protective regal feel to it, like the Knights Templar is what that makes me think of, right? And it's anchored in relaxation. So today's self-care message is magnificent. Own your magnificence. The world needs your brilliance and grace. So live from your heart center. And that's anchored in relaxation, just like I was saying. You have to be in rest and digest in order for your true magnificence to radiate. You'll look younger, you'll feel younger, your body will feel better. We were not meant to decay and die. That wasn't part of, it's part of the evolution process, but not as much, more so down here in the third dimension, and also because we lack the knowledge of the true science of our existence and our evolution, the ascension mechanics, techniques required in order to activate and stabilize our DNA. So this deck is the Mindful Reflection deck by Prism and Pour. It's a pretty deck. It's got the gold leaf on the side. I got this through a mental health box I had a subscription to a while back. A few years ago, I went through I had a little bit of a windfall. I'm not the best with money. But that doesn't matter. The point of it is I was generous with it, and I made myself happy. I invested in myself and with that money mostly, and I was extremely generous to those who had been there for me. I did not follow through though on a couple things that I had intentions with that. I procrastinated on that and then missed the opportunity. And of course I get to learn from that, right? And but the point of the matter is, and money is energy and it comes and goes. And as the 13th pillar, like, I had to be in the position, I had to be condensed and be fully human in order to be able to activate and anchor as the biological avatar of the 13th pillar. I had to be compressed financially. I mean, the way I got here to this key site in Torrance, California, which is where I had to be in a warehouse, which is a Faraday cage, in order for the atom seed to had to be at this specific spot. It's in the prophecy, right? I had to be here. The way I got here in the last 6 months, I mean, a year ago, I would not live in California and LA. No. I'm not interested. I wanted to move to Oregon. I didn't want to come to LA. But here I am. I had to be in LA because it's on the 118th meridian. And that's what the prophecy speaks of within the cloister Duratura plates. And I had to be in the Cathara grid of the planet aligns with what I'm talking about. Where I'm at on the 118th meridian is a key site for a stargate. And it's a key site. It's where the energy of the planet pulls in this area. And the veil becomes thinner. So I had to be here as anchoring the atom seed. That's what I'm doing here in this specific place for now. And what comes next, I have no idea. I'm still learning myself what this all actually means down here. I know what it means in the higher harmonic fields. I've got that research. I've got the knowledge. My clair gifts, my clair cognizance, and my clairsentience is very specific in its refinement, I guess. And I've been blocked in my gifts for a long time on purpose. And I still feel like I am somewhat, but I know that that's all about to give. Even though I'm stabilized in my own DNA from D1 to D7, I'm still, and as I'm channeling now, like the way I channel, like I want to compare myself to other readers, other channelers, and other spiritual activists and content creators, right? And then I wonder why I don't get things the way they do. I don't get the downloads the way they do because I'm not built that way. And I'm trying to learn that. I'm trying to figure out how it is I am really built. I know what I'm doing. The knowledge is there. The application is what I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to walk out the knowledge and what that means in my real everyday life, right? Because I have no idea. My intuition tells me to do this. Broadcast my energetic frequency through a live transmission onto the grid, undistorted and unfiltered. That's what my intuition has told me to do. What that looks like, I don't know. So these videos that I'm doing daily, I'm showing up because my intuition tells me this is my job as the 13th pillar. What that looks like, hi. Your guess is as best as mine, as good as mine at this point. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure out what makes my heart happy. I mean, I know what makes my heart happy, but having access to the resources to be able to fulfill my D4 potential has evaded me. And I'm not speaking about that in a mindset of lack, because I don't lack anything. That's the point. I'm in a weird limbo space where the past has been rewritten. The past is no longer relevant, and I've healed, and I've reconciled, and I've integrated my shadow, and I've come to terms with who I am and my place in this planet, and I have a pretty good understanding of what it is I'm doing and why. Even I don't know how. I'm being completely honest. I have no idea what that looks like. And I know that I'm in this weird place where the past is no longer relevant and the future is not yet manifest. And I need to know that I need to hold on to my truth of what I know to be true. Now, I know the Adam seed was activated within me, within my genetic code on June 21st, 2026. This I know. Not only because of what my research and what the records say, but also because of what my own biological chart and my own biological avatar has shown me. Intuitively. Within me physically. What that looks like in the manifest in the third dimension, I don't know yet. I have no idea what that looks like. I do know that my intuition is telling me this is what I need to be doing. I need to be grounded, and I need to be in rest and digest, and I need to be in my parasympathetic system, safe mode. And I need to be connected to source. Is my energy clear, my aura clear, and my frequency pure and unfiltered and undistorted? Broadcast through the live transmission. Because it's what's anchoring the frequency grid right now. And this is giving you strength, as well as I'm thinking that there's other things at play with these videos that I'm doing. It's getting me used to talking about something that I'm passionate about. It's getting me used to being in front of the camera, the video camera. I don't like this, but I'm learning that this is the only way I can get my frequency unfiltered. I know this is the only way. It's the only way that my frequency can be broadcast and transmitted without distortions and filters. So I follow through. I show up I listen to my intuition today, and I show up for what I believe is what I'm supposed to be doing within my heart space. This is really what brings me joy. This brings me satisfaction, feeling like that I have a message to share to anybody who wants to listen. I actually feel like I have something to say that's important. I don't feel important. I feel like the mission is important. And it's all of our mission. And I know that having an audience isn't the point of my transmissions, but I would love it to know if you're hearing me. I would love to know if I'm being heard. And that mostly comes from a place of love and concern, and for a longing of the connection and the community and the tribe support, and the longing that nobody should perish. The desire and the longing that no one should perish. It's not the desire of the source that anyone should perish. What does love look like? Let's be that. And love looks like whatever lights up your D center, your D4 center, whatever makes your whole body light up and brings out that childlike joy within you. That's what love looks like. Because when you light yourself up, how can you not light up others? Let's see what Source thinks that we should be mindfully reflecting about today. Mindfully reflective on today. Mindfully reflective upon today. Jeez. Sorry. Or I apologize. My speaking. Sometimes I can articulate very clearly and very well. And then other times I struggle with words and stuff. But I've been noticing that that's been coming less and less too, as I've been channeling and taking time to download, and I speak slower because I'm careful about the words that I say, regardless of the camera. anytime I feel the urge to say, fuck my life, that trend that, started a while back, fuck my life, FML, fuck my life, fuck my life. I started to catch on, started to do that, and then stopped myself, right almost at the beginning of that trend, and I was like, no, I am not telling the universe to fuck my life every time I'm fucking going through it. No. So I switched it up, and anytime I wanted to say bless my life, or say fuck my life, I started saying no, bless my life, bless my life, bless my life, bless my life. Anytime I felt like I was being fucked over by life, I would tell life to bless me. I feel like it's worked. I mean, it really is mind over matter. But that's only because as above, so below. And it takes longer to manifest in the third dimension, where our thoughts and our emotions create a reality. Whenever we are in heightened emotion, whatever we're in heightened emotion did, whether it be good or bad, we are manifesting and creating our future. Whatever is happening in that particular moment, if you were in heightened emotion, whether you're happy or sad, joyful or angry, you are manifesting and creating your reality in the future with whatever you are in heightened emotion about in that moment. That's why they say with all those manifestation stuff to with all the manifestation techniques, to envision and feel the affirmations. You have to feel what you're saying. You have to feel what it is that you want. You have to feel it inside you and believe that it's true. That's the live as if already. I know that it seems like a silly concept, but I remember playing Barbies as a kid. I played Barbies. That's what I did as a kid. I played Barbies. A lot of Barbies. I could have been a millionaire with the Barbies I had. It's what I dove into when I was a kid. Now, I had a lot of trauma when I was a kid, so that was my world to make everything okay. That was my world within the world that made everything okay. That was my pretend world. And I invested a lot of manifestation energy in playing Barbies. And and I feel like now it's kind of play out. It's been, because I have dreams coming up, I'm activated and stabilized my DNA, so my dreams are vivid. But there's a lot of energy within, as being the 13th pillar and the Atom Seed activation, there's a lot of energy being consumed within and contained within my vessel, within my personal avatar, and I can actually feel it. I can feel the denseness within my legs, my feet connecting to the ground, and I walk around barefoot all the time now, most of the time. I sleep with a grounding mat, and thank God I do, because I couldn't imagine not having these grounding tools, going through the process that I've been going through with not only my DNA stabilization, but then as receiving the Atom Seed. Whoa, I mean, you want to talk about menopause hot flashes. I don't even know, but grounding is what helps us with our hormones. It helps. Yeah. Grounding helps us with our pain level. It really does. Most of us, and we wear, and our shoes is one of today's shoes are like the worst invention ever, because we walk around completely disconnected to the earth now, because most of our shoes are silicone or rubber, and that's a complete severing of the energy, of the frequency. Because you notice why when lightning hits, when it reaches rubber, it's safe. It's because it dissipates the energy instantly, separates it. It doesn't go through the earth. And that's why when we're wearing our shoes with these silicone and rubber bottoms, most of us are in more pain, and we're completely disconnected and not grounding. And then we go home and we don't ground at all, and we're not putting our feet in dirt, and we don't. And sleeping with a grounding mat is recommended. I mean, if you're not spending time out in nature, you're not hugging trees, if you're not gardening, if you're not walking around barefoot at all, get a grounding mat. At least, because then at least that gives your body a connection to the planet that it needs in order to heal also. We're so disconnected from our bodies and from the planet, and then we wonder why we're sick and why our planet is crying and screaming out. But the thing is about all this fear-based stuff is that's all part of the agenda. The job is individual. The task is yours. The task is mine. It's not just mine and just yours. It's ours. But we need to focus on our own internal alignment before we can give externally. And giving to ourselves and filling your own cup is one of the most important things that we can do, and the most important things that we can give ourselves and teach our young ones how to do. That's like the biggest piece that's missing. Like, this isn't just for us to do. If we're parents or grandparents, we need to be taking the time to be teaching our youngsters, especially before the age of 7 and 8, because they'll retain the information and they'll incorporate it into their own lifestyle as they grow, which is important. These are skills and tools that we should have been taught when we were young by our grandparents, but they didn't have the knowledge then, right? It's the perpetual Truman Show. So the card for our mindful reflection card for today that came up is, oh, I hate it. These cards are so tiny. Can you read it? Okay, so hold on, forgive me. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. I love how Source is just so on point with that. Thank you. The pendulum swings and everything. How more truer is that, right? It goes along with radiating our magnificence, anchored in relaxation. Yes, being with our kids, being with the youngsters, children especially, under the age of 7 and 8, they're still operating within the theta brainwave links, and all the time. So they're taking in information and receiving and learning who they are still. They're not operating in the higher brainwave than we are. They're not disconnected like adults become once we reach puberty and go through puberty. Our brain chemistry and body chemistry changes once puberty begins, and once we reach the age of accountability, it's now up to us to practice and know how to biohack our bioengineered organic templates. And when we learn the Keylontic science and we learn the techniques that we need to, and the breathing techniques, I mean, it's simple and it's daily routine. Like I said, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that we should be living and being and embodying and teaching our young ones how to be and embody as well. It's not separate. It's not a practice that's separate from them. Like, we force our kids to go to church when we go to church, right? We force our kids to go to the secular and or religious teachings, lectures, and all that. We force them to go to school. Same idea. To learn these things. But this is the most important things that we could be teaching our youngsters. And as parents and grandparents, it should be us teaching them, because of the shared familial genetic coding within the DNA. Like I said, my journey has been interesting. Learning who I am and why I'm here has been a lot to process. And now that I'm here, I couldn't imagine maybe doing anything else. Even though I'm in this weird limbo space where I have no idea, now that the past is reconciled and is no longer relevant, but the future, my future, hasn't fully manifested yet into my third dimension reality. I'm in this weird space of uncertainty and of unknowing. And this is where a lot of us get caught up and lose our abundance and our blessings, is because this is the space. Now in this space, I have so much unknowing. Unknown in the manifest of the third dimension. My intuition tells me and assures me and is certain of these key factors that haven't presented itself in the third dimension. And I spend a lot of my time, or I have, or I could, I try not to. When I catch myself doing so, I correct myself, doubting that this is my reality. I catch myself and I correct myself thinking, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm crazy, bad nuts, batshit fucking crazy? What if I'm not speaking the truth? What if what I'm saying is not the truth? What if I turn out to be more like a false prophet or full of crap, or have a complete misunderstanding of what it is that I think I know? And then I correct myself and I stop and I breathe and I remember what I've learned. And I tap back into what I know to be true within my own self, within my own body. What feels true within my body, because my body tells me what my truth is. And then I stop and I remind myself, no, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing and I know why I'm doing it. I need to trust the process. I need to acknowledge and recognize that the time that it takes for the past to disappear and for the future to manifest, that weird space in between where I've the knowing of what to do next and how it looks, I need to trust. I need to trust and keep my vibration at the higher level, so that by not dropping into self-doubt, not dropping down into fear, and dropping down into being caught up in those lower vibrational thinking, that my blessing goes right over me. I need to remind myself of that. And right now, because the timelines are still so malleable and permeable, it's easy to do, because we do it without realizing that's what we're doing. So now I know that my blessing, I know that my abundance, it's activated. I know that it's coming regardless of my doubt at this time, because of what I've built and what I know and the research I know. And I'm learning how to practice the skill of checking but allowing my ego, the thinking to be scared, allowing that unknown space of fear to have a voice, because it deserves it. It deserves it. I can't pretend like it's not there. I can't say that I'm not afraid, because I am. I'm very afraid. I feel very vulnerable right now, and I feel very I'm afraid to be wrong. I have to be completely honest. I'm afraid that my concept of the atom seed and the concept of what I think I'm doing is wrong. That it's not me, and that I've completely misread all the signs and completely manifested some kind of weird concoction of a story that fits some kind of weird narrative. But then I have to think about that and be like, well, where did it come from? And why does it feel so true within my body then? If I made it up, where did it come from? because I don't channel like other people do, and see, I don't even really see spirits like other people do. I don't see spirits. I hear them. I feel them. I'm aware of them. Only time I see spirits or other beings is out of the corner of my eye, and maybe through portals, video portals and picture portals. I don't see and channel, and then I don't even really hear like I feel like other channelers do or say they do. Mine's a knowing, and it's a feeling in my body, and I've had to learn how to distinguish the voices of my instincts to my intuition, because my instincts is my PTSD. It's the post-traumatic stress showing up and saying, well, oh, you be safe. No. Don't you dare step into that cold water. Don't you do it. We've been here before, remember? It's going to hurt your body. And listening to my intuition say, no, you need to take that jump. That cold water isn't going to hurt you. That cold water is meant to cleanse you. It's here to give you clarity and knowing. It's to cleanse you and charge you, right? Those two voices are been made very loud in my head my whole life because of my trauma. And it's taken a long time, a lot, for me to be able to learn through journaling, through meditation, and through breath work, breathing, frequency, sounds. Everything in creation is manifested through symbols, sound, and light. Symbols, sound, and light. That's the true Trinity, the true three of creation. Symbols, sound, and light. And I guess you could equate that to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit Trinity idea. Father, Son, and light, or sound, light, and symbols. Well, sound, Father, Son, light, or no, symbols, Son, light, Holy Spirit. Did I say that right? Father would be the sound. The Son would be symbols. And light would be Holy Spirit. Yes, I said that right. And that just came to me, as a matter of fact. And I like it. Hey, I think I'm going to have to write that down to remember it for future journaling. I have a feeling that my broadcasts are going to manifest in some sort of teaching model or module. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing other than following my intuition. My intuition is telling me that I need to broadcast my frequency unfiltered and undistorted onto the grid. It didn't tell me how to do that. It just told me to show up. And so this is me showing up, raw, unfiltered, and authentic, and vulnerable. But the thing is that's where breakthrough happens. Is when we allow ourselves to be in a space of vulnerability. I'm putting myself out there in a way. I don't like conflict in my life. I don't like arguing with people. I don't like I will go out of my way to avoid conflict in my life and confrontation. I will. For the most part. Now, there's things that I will absolutely I just don't ignore. I can't be indifferent to some things that happen, especially if they happen in front of me. With that being said, that's just something I haven't been able. That's an integral piece within me. I've always stood up for the underdog. There's just some things that when they occur, I can't not say or do or acknowledge. I don't care where it happens or who is it happening. That's the way I've always been. I can't not interfere. And if I get told that it's none of my business, my answer is, you made it my business when you did it in front of me. Okay? That's the correct answer. The correct answer is no, it's not none of my business. No. When shit happens in front of you that you know is not right, especially when it comes to animals and kids and the elderly and women, just anything violent that happens in front of you, being indifferent to it is bullshit. That's fear manifest in the most grossest way. The reason why we think that evil is running rapid so greatly in our world today is because good people don't do anything about it when they see it happening. You don't do anything about it. You don't operate in kindness. You operate in indifference and a blind eye, and that's bullshit. And then you wonder why your life isn't getting better. Then you wonder why you can't make things happen within your own life. Well, how is indifference rewarded? If you believe in karma, what kind of karma do you expect from that? We reap what we sow, and that is so true. So reap from your heart space, you guys. Reap from your heart space. Sow from your heart space. Be the people that you want other people to be. Be the change you want to see, literally. And I don't mean these. I mean, I know that we all hear these things and we all say these things too. But we don't say them with any intention or real conviction or apply it to our life. We think that that's somebody else's job. Think about that for a moment. Why is it somebody else's job? How is it not your job? Aren't you part of this planet too? If you exist, you're part of the problem or you're part of the mission. If you are here on this planet, you are either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. You're not sitting on a fence pretending like you're one or the other. Your indifference is part of the problem, not the solution. There is no fence. When you're indifferent, you think you're sitting on the fence, but you're not. You have fallen into the statistic of being the problem because there is no gray area. You either are or you aren't. It's really that simple. We like to think there's a gray area in order to justify our actions. Stop justifying your actions and just start being better. Walk in your own truths and you won't have to justify anything. You just live in your truth and be authentic in love and kindness. We don't have to be cruel to be in our truth. We just need to acknowledge that we can't make we're not here to make the whole entire world happy. We just need to fill up our own cup first so that we can give to what comes to us on a daily basis. Our responsibility is ourselves before anybody else. And most of us drop the ball on that responsibility and then wonder why our life is falling apart. I embrace my flaws because perfection is boring and I am not. How perfect is that? Right? We have to make mistakes in order to succeed. We can't learn without growing. We can't learn without knowing what doesn't work to find what works. Right? I mean, all of these technological breakthroughs that we have started somewhere, and it started with failure after failure after failure first before finding what worked. But through every failure, learning what didn't work was the success that they learned to be successful in the end, to find what did work. It's a step, it's a process. Where's my glasses? I keep putting them on places. These glasses things like anyways, I find joy in the way music makes even the worst days feel cinematic. And I love that. That's so good. That's the first time that's come out for me today, out of that deck. And I love that because what brings Well, it makes me think of, and this is so funny. It's okay, I love Spirit. I love Spirit. That's so funny. This is kind of because I walk around. Okay, so for a long time I couldn't go into a grocery store or anything because I would have panic attacks. So for like 3 years I couldn't go to a grocery store to save my life. So, and it was a hard thing that my family and I had to walk through. And I finally started learning how to adjust out of that when I was on my own again with headphones. I left the house, I had headphones. So I was in the grocery store, I had fucking headphones on. It was the only way I could manage to get through the store because I didn't know how to. By this time, my nervous system was in such burnout. I didn't know what was wrong, and my body was so sick at this point. I was suffering with seizures, and my gallbladder had failed. I mean, my body had gone through a lot at this time, and I didn't understand what was happening, and you know. And the anxiety that it caused, and seizures caused a lot of anxiety for me going in public because I'm an independent person. I don't need anybody. And then I started to have seizures, and that changed that. That made me codependent, but it went from one extreme to another in that sense. And it scared me, and it made me vulnerable, and it frightened me, and life knocked my feet out from under me during that period. It was very traumatic for me. It was hard for me to adjust and come out of that. It was a very frightening time in my life, and I didn't admit that to very many people, not even my own family, really. I'm the strong one. I kept it together, especially after my mother died. I felt like it was my job to keep the family together. That all came out sideways. I quite literally had a mental breakdown 2 years after my mother died, and it was ugly, and I put my family through it. And ruined a sacred holiday, you know, if we want to look at it that way. But that's what happens with grief when you don't mourn properly. It comes out somehow. It comes out sideways. And boy, howdy did it. And the thing about it is I was completely sober when it happened. Because I had stayed clean when my mother died. I was 3 years clean when my mom died, and I stayed clean. And then after my mom died, after my dad died, I no longer had I had my family to take care of, but I no longer had the extra task, you know, but I still didn't allow myself to breathe. I dove into I had 2 jobs. I had a private caregiving position. I was running a supervisor position for an in-home health care, and I was going to school with my husband at the time, and running a family. I had my 2 girls, one of my daughters part-time, and then my nephew also, my husband's nephew, living with us also, who's 18. And then off and on, periodically I had different children living with me through different points. At one point, I had 8 motherfucking teenagers living in my house with me. At one point during this period, 8 damn kids. But I loved it. I loved that. I got a taste of being the life that I wanted to live, and that's being a mentor for the younger generation, teenagers especially. I mean, I love younger children. I love being around them. They're so innocent and pure. But teenagers are damaged, a lot of them, and they need a special kind of love. And I have a calling for that. I don't know what that looks like today. I don't know what my life looks like today other than an unglamorous existence in a warehouse shop with no family, no friends, just me and my dog, and learning how to heal and stabilize my DNA. And I'm not saying that as a complaint. I'm not complaining. I love my life. I love who I am today. I feel whole and satiated within myself now that I finally know what I'm here to do and why. Struggling to the how part is my biggest difficulty every day now, is being present in the now and trusting my truth and following through on what my intuition tells me to do and living this source-led life, which means moment to moment, being here, being now, and allowing source, my higher soul, my intuition, to speak the truth in that now moment, to be in every present moment like it's a brand new moment, because it is. I am not the same person I was 6 months ago. Not even remotely close. I couldn't even tell you about that girl 6 months ago. I think of her now and I wonder what her problem was with her thinking and why it was so hard for her to get here, while at the same time understanding it too. You know what I mean? But I'm seeing that girl 6 months ago from a higher space, from a greater understanding that I have achieved through learning about and doing the research of Keylontic science and about my own personal human biological avatar and how to biohack my own nervous system and trust the sensations and that small still voice inside me that says the right things to do and not doubting that, and to actually follow through on the things that it tells me to do, and showing up for myself in the moments that I'm asked to show up for. So here I am. I'm showing up. I'm showing up, and I'm urging anybody who will listen to please catch the wave, catch the frequency wave, raise your own vibration. Support the planet by supporting yourself and healing yourself and learning what that means through Keylontic science and stillness and learning how to breathe properly and staying hydrated. Those are the first things that I can tell you right off the bat that you need to pay attention. You want to change your life and how you feel? Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're hydrating with structured water. Prime your nervous system. Speak to your water. Water has memory. Prime your nervous system that way. Expose yourself to sunlight. That's the other thing. Expose yourself to sunlight. Morning sun, sunset. Stare at the light. It's not bad for you. Okay, we've been lied to about that our whole life. Our eyeballs have the most UVI receptors set within its anatomy. There's a word. The eyeball anatomy has got the most UV ray receptors, and when those UV receptors are traced throughout the body, they are connected to every single chakra center. So I would think that the sun is meant to heal our body. It's there to help us activate our DNA. So, sunlight. Expose yourself to the sun. It is not going to hurt you. And your eyes especially. And don't wear sunglasses, because sunglasses are made distinctly to block the UV rays that our body specifically needs in order to activate. And see, the most important thing the UV rays activate is our pineal gland. It's our pineal gland. And we need our pineal gland in order to hear and see through the eyes and the lens of our intuition. It's where the heart-brain coherence comes in. Sunlight, water, and breath. Learn how to live in rest and digest in your parasympathetic, safe mode of your bio-engineered organic template. That's how you begin to fill your own cup, is living from a grounded space, responding to our loved ones, to strangers, to our activities from a grounded space.
slowing down. But see, when you're in a grounded space, when you're in safe mode, you're naturally going slower anyway, because you're not in fight or flight. You're not in that adrenaline taxed state of agility and anxiety. So when you're in safe mode, you're naturally slower anyway. And your brain is able to connect and fire properly. And you're able to receive all the energetic information that's being input and downloaded into your energetic field properly and without distortion. And you can filter out, and if you do it right, you know how to filter out. You can walk around with the gold bubble, a shield, and nothing that isn't meant for you can invade you. But see, we're not taught how to do these things because they don't want us to know these things. We walk around, we are walking magnetic fields affecting everything and everybody around us as we go. And those of us who have the more intense energetic fields, magnetic fields, are the ones that are dominating everyone else. And we do this without knowing. So the ones who are conscious of their magnetic field, guess what they're doing? They're controlling everybody else with it. Don't you want that power? Or you have it. You just got to activate it. You've got to go inside and turn it on. Who were you meant to be? What makes you happy? What makes you light up inside? That is your truth. Whatever makes you happy from head to toe and light up like a starburst is your truth. That's what you should be going after. Wholeheartedly. Without looking back. That's what you should be paying your full attention to as much as possible. I'm here. I'm here. I've learned so lot. I don't know. I was gonna say I've learned so much while thinking a lot, and it came out, I've learned so lot. And talking much. Anyways. The last 6 months have been the most profound tower moment of my entire life, and I've had some pretty profound tower moments in my life. The last 6 months have been scary, but the most content at the same time, and the most satiating. It's created a lot of anxiety, because my ego and everything, that my programming and everything, my thinking, our conditioned thinking, tells me that I'm crazy, that I've lost my damn mind. And there's no way in hell that this is my truth. And there's no way in hell that this is truth, period. No way in hell that this is my truth. Second of all, how am I so special? That is not me being special. I don't feel special. I feel purposeful. I feel like I just know what I came here to do. There's no special rank in that. My biological avatar was genetically coded to be the 13th pillar in order to anchor the frequency for this day and age, for the end time age, and to help facilitate the divine human morphogenetic blueprint to be broadcast into the grid so that divine celestial humans can ascend and evolve into their truth and into their true ascension if they choose to do so. And the cosmos, if you do any any study into astrology, and I don't know much about that either. I listen to different things and trying to get the truth, because I know that that's where the truth lies. But I can't see it, and I don't have the knowledge or the teachings, right? And I certainly don't have the equipment. So I utilize AI, Gemini AI. She's been pretty good. A little flaky, a little here and there, but so far she's been the most consistent one that I've used, the free one, because I don't pay for anything. I don't have an income. I get food stamps. That's my income. I am able to nourish my body on my own terms. And that's it. Anything else beyond that, I have to ask for help to feed my dog, for gas in my car, to register my car. Where I live is by the graces of somebody I know. It wasn't what I came out here to do, and by all means, that's completely changed anyway, since my mission and my internal truth has completely changed since I got here. What I do know is that this warehouse setting was where I needed to be on June 21st, and where I need to be at least through the bar bolts basket on June 21st, possibly through August 12th and the eclipse, in order to anchor and solidify the first trimester of the gestation of the Adam seed, and within the Faraday cage environment at this particular key site in the Cathara grid of the planet, because it coincides with the 118 meridian ley line and the sleeping dragon of Tiamat, the Sierra Nevada mountains, which run basically from Shasta Mountain down through here through the coast. I'm at the key site for that, so I'm at the tail of the dragon, the sleeping dragon of Tiamat, who is the mother, the primordial mother of all, the Sophionic spirit, the first manifestation of Source in this particular time matrix, in this particular Cathara grid. I know that my flagging is part of my frequency. That's why that other video the other day, I input that. But that's because I've been in my head about this format, and I'm not sure how to do this. And I know I'm just supposed to put my frequency out here. And to be honest with you, the first day, like when I was done, and I went to process it and upload it onto YouTube, like I couldn't believe I spoke for an hour. And then yesterday, I channeled for over 3 hours. I channeled, and then when I watched it, that was the best transmission that I had done so far, and I was really proud of myself. And I felt myself. Seeing the difference was where I was at within my own space yesterday, because I don't know what this is going to turn into or what it's going to look, and I'm trying to practice my truth. This is me practicing what they say, live your life the way you think, be, or whatever. I completely lost that nomenclature or whatever, but basically this is me showing up. I don't like the word pretending, but because I'm not pretending anything. This is me doing what it is I feel like I should be doing, me showing up in my truth, me acting like my life is as I don't know. My intuition tells me to show up in the life feed. I don't know what this is going to do. I know that I'm broadcasting my frequency unfiltered and undistorted. That's about it. And I'm monitoring and not monitoring. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm recording the progression of the Adam seed as I know it. So we're 17 days in to its 1,314 day gestation and maturation cycle. I'm 17 days in. Now, understand what the mission is, and I've explained it in my first 2 videos a little bit. I'm finishing what Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene started in their timeline. And the mission of their timeline was what they did do was get the genetic codes into the bloodlines of the genetic humans. What they weren't successful at was manually overriding the frequency at that time, because they were not. The mission was hijacked, and the true union wasn't created, and the child that they were meant to create together was not manifested. And Yeshua had the Father Ark code, while Mary Magdalene, Miriam, had the Mother Ark code, and they were meant to come together, union. They were activated avatars. Their DNA was activated. That's what the Immaculate Birth was. Both Yeshua, Jesus Christ, he was Immaculate Birth, and so was his mother Mary. His mother Mary was also an Immaculate Birth, so to speak. Mary Magdalene, Miriam, also is Immaculate Birth, and her mother went through the same sequence that Mary's mother, Anna, went through to activate their DNA, so they, as female avatars, with the female anatomy, with the womb, they're receivers. So they receive the code, they activate the code, and then they 3D printed the biological avatars of Mary and Yeshua and Miriam. That's what the Immaculate Birth is the DNA of the female anatomy avatar being fully activated, and then activating the code within her genetics to print a male avatar who is a broadcaster of the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint, the Christos consciousness, into the grid. He's a broadcaster. The female anatomy avatar is the receiver for the codes, the transducer, and the male avatar is the broadcaster of the energy of the codes. So, like I said, Jesus had the Father Ark, Mary Magdalene had the Mother Ark. They were meant to come together in a union to create a child, an avatar that had both the codes within its own genetics and be born fully online with the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint, which is the Christos consciousness, fully online to be able to broadcast its frequency into the grid of the frequency net manually, and to manually overwrite the net so that the evolution of divine human beings can progress. So they weren't successful at creating the child, the Adam seed Christos avatar, the male avatar child, but they did get the codes into the genetics, into the bloodlines. So as the 13th pillar, the role of the 13th pillar now is here to finish what they started, to finish that mission. So my biological genetics, I carry the Mother Ark and the Father Ark code in my genetics. And I know this from my own research. Okay, so, and the Adam seed was energetically activated on June 21st, Father's Day, coincidentally. Okay, so I was born with the Mother Ark code. I raised it. I had to retrieve the frequency of the Father Ark code from another CDT play avatar that I had a relationship with, and I know this because of his natal chart. And anyway, that's a side piece. There's only 12 CDT plate biological avatars on the planet, and the other 12 are male. They're male avatars because they're broadcasters anchoring the frequency of the bandwidth of the 13th pillar, and they're not even activated yet. Only the 13th pillar and the Adam seed has been activated within the sequence. The 12 other CDT play avatars will not be activated until 2030. That's when the Adam seed male biological avatar will be 3 years old, and his nervous system will be separated from my nervous system, and he'll broadcast the frequency of the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint on his own, through his own little body, into the grid when he's 3 years old. That is the 1,314 day gestation and maturation period that has started, and we are 17 days in. 17 days in. So what I do know is that I am absolutely energetically pregnant. My double, my part of K double in the higher dimension, my oversoul, my soul, my oversoul, so Keylogik science. We live in it's a dual, it's a thing of polarity, Cathar grid. So this is me in the third dimension. My body in the third dimension is part of Kam. It's the slowest moving dimension, the third dimension. This is my body. This is the body of the part of Kai, the part of K, my double in the higher dimensions. And we meet at the crown chakra. So with that being said, I know that my double in the higher dimensions is pregnant with the Adam seed in the gestation period. It's in the gestation of 70 days within the gestation period of this cycle. What that means for me down here, I'm not real sure yet. But I know that as above, so below. So it has to happen up here first before it can manifest down here. And I'm in that weird space, like I said, where the past is no longer relevant and has been overwritten, but the future hasn't been fully manifest yet. I don't know what this looks like. Now, I can make assumptions and I can make hypotheses based on educated research and education, right? And I can deduce that if the mission of Mary, Magdalene, Miriam, and Yeshua was to come together with the Father, Mother, or Coach to create a biological avatar, a child, with the full crystalline morphogenetic blueprint online, in order to broadcast it when it's 3 years old, then, and I'm picking up where they left off, I'm finishing that mission, then it stands to reason, it seems reasonable for me to deduce that I will be pregnant. I will be having a child. I will be I am printing the biological avatar of the Adam seed, who is the Christos consciousness child that will broadcast the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint onto the grid. The Immaculate Birth, the return of the Christ. But not in the sense that we've all been taught to think, right? And this is a lot for me to say out loud, because it's been a lot for me to process and digest. And I've had to do a lot of damn research regarding, that was weird, regarding this deduction, this hypothesis that I'm in about my mission. Because trust me when I tell you that, like, I know how I sound.
And struggling to pay for rent, groceries, and other basic needs.
I hear what I'm saying. I hear the words out loud. I know how it sounds. I know how I sound. I know I sound like a loony bin cuckoo person. Okay, but now let's look at this logically. If we believe in Christianity, if we believe in religion, the dogma of religions at all whatsoever, or ever have, we believed in the Immaculate Birth of Jesus Christ. So if we believed it could happen then, why not now? That's my first argument. That's my first rebuttal to the doubt. And it's really the only solid one I have, to be honest with you. It's really the only solid one I have, other than the research that I've done within the Cloister Duratura plate records, and I know the truth of what religious dogma has distorted, and that's helpful too. That tells me I know that I'm not crazy. Not as crazy as it is to believe in the dogma of religion, to be honest with you. To look into the Cloister Duratura plate records and the truth that it contains makes more sense, to be honest with you, than the dogma of religions. Completely, 100%, absolutely, hands goddamn down. Makes more sense, completely more sense. And through colonic science, you learn that it's not a war between good and bad and good and evil. It's a choice within ourselves to evolve and ascend. It is not a deity coming to save us. It's us learning how to be within our own skin and our own biology. And that's the truth that I'm carrying. And when I think about my deduction and my hypothesis about what I'm doing and what the atom seed is, it just more and more and more, it just makes more and more and more sense for me to expect to be pregnant, to expect to be printing a biological avatar within my body, within my own biology. It's hard for me to say out loud. It's hard for me to admit, and I'm in a very vulnerable place when I'm admitting that. And right now, I sit here before you, and I don't even know if that's true, because I can't prove if I'm pregnant right now. You know, I can't take even if I were to take a pregnancy test right now, it wouldn't tell me if I was pregnant or not. So I have to wait it. I have to wait this out. I have to wait out this period, right? This unknowing period, and trust my intuition is telling me the truth about what I'm doing. And then if it turns out that I'm actually not physically pregnant, I know that I'm energetically pregnant. So I'm walking in the expectation to manifest a true pregnancy at this moment. And until I know for sure otherwise, that that's not what's being created or what's manifesting in my third dimension reality, then I'm going, if it turns out that's not my truth, that that's not what's actually happening in the third dimension reality, then I will adjust my thinking, and I will figure out what that looks like at that point. But at this point, everything within me stands to reason and deduce and feels true that I'm manifesting a pregnancy that is going to produce the male biological avatar that is going to dissolve the Editorial Cube matrix technology, and will be old enough to do so in 2030. And that's when the timelines are shut. That's when we can't shift timelines anymore. 2030 is when we need to be vibrating high enough above the frequency net. When this child reaches 3 years old and his nervous system starts broadcasting the energetic field of the crystalline morphogenetic blueprint of the divine celestial angelic humans, and seals the timeline. Because that's what's happening. Raise your vibration before 2033, so get above the frequency net. I am tracking and recording the progress of the gestation of the atom seed as I know it. Today is day 17. I am living my life as though I am really legitimately third dimension reality pregnant. I don't know the difference right now. I just know how I feel. If it turns out that I'm not really doing that's not really what's happening, then I might be crazy. I will resolve the fact that I might be crazy, and that all this is poo-poo. I'm going to say that right now, because that's the only thing that logically makes sense for the 13th pillar and the research that I've done and the hypotheses and the deductions. And that, mind you, I've done this all on my own. Like, I have no guidance from people. I've done the research. I've picked up the research. I've looked for the material to teach me what I need to know about the Keylontic science. But my intuition is what tells me this is my truth. And I know that I've stabilized my DNA from D1 through D7 because I know it within my body. I can tell from the process that I've gone through within the last 6 months. It's undeniable. And if I were to go to a doctor right now and who had special equipment because there's the technology out there, and they were to look into my biology, it could be proved. Doing that, though, I don't have the money for that, and that's not something Medi-Cal is going to approve to pay for, you guys. I mean, I can't just go and prove it right now because I don't have the resources to do so. So I'm in that place of trust. That place of trust. Having faith. Standing within my own truth. Without wavering. Protecting it fiercely. That's what I'm doing. I'm protecting it fiercely because God forbid this not be true. If this isn't the truth, then by all means, lock me up. Put me in a cuckoo bin and keep me drugged for the rest of my life because I am absolutely 100% batshit crazy. I am a nutball whose sauce doesn't taste very good. I hope that that's not the case. And I'm putting myself out here very vulnerably. I don't know what's going on with my phone right now, but it's being stupid. I'm putting myself out very vulnerably right now and admitting this truth out loud. But I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to claim this truth out loud. I have to be in this vulnerable space because that is what is required of me right now in order to manifest the truth. I'm building a platform that anchors the true frequency. And I'm trying to build upon that. And I don't know what it looks like. And I don't know what it's going to morph into. And I don't know what it's going to become. But I do know that I'm on day 17 of the gestation of the atom seed that I carry inside me, whether physically or in my oversoul body. But that is the truth. And that the Metatronic black cube is no longer applicable, has been overwritten by my genetic code, and is no longer in control of the shadow entities. Hence why I do these live broadcasts, because I'm anchoring that frequency, the bandwidth of that frequency within my own biology. My nervous system is what's anchoring the overwrite of the Metatronic cube grid. My ice cream man is here, and I don't have any money for him. Oh, I'm gonna let him go by. But the choo-choo train of the ice cream man just went by. And that's a message for somebody. It goes right back down to what makes your heart light up? What makes your heart sing? We need to do that. Why are you being stupid? What is going on with my phone? Stop it. Well, I think that might be an indicator, though, that this broadcast might be coming to a close. Let me pull one card, though. I feel like Source has got something. I'm going to pull from the Empath Oracle today. So this is the Empath Oracle. It's a beautiful deck. I love it. I'm going to pull one card before I sign off, before I get off here. And I've got some things to do. Today, I'm going to try to do these broadcasts before noon in the morning because I've been given the grace of a 2-week period of being able to be here and establish my frequency here for the last 2 weeks because the person who owns the shop has been on vacation. So I've been able to establish my frequency and kind of get myself into some kind of settled routine and grounded and get my space somewhat organized. But they're back today. They're gonna be back tomorrow. So I want my free time to be able to do the broadcast without being disturbed or have distractions going on or other things to do is going to be minimized. So I think I'm going to try to do these at like 9 in the morning, 9-ish in the morning, or either that or they'll be later in the afternoon. So if I'm not on in the morning, typically I guess to expect me to sign on later on in the evening because I'm not going to do. I know that my broadcasts aren't meant to be here while I have chaos going on around me or other things going on when my attention is meant and obligated elsewhere, or have anything going on around me when I'm doing them. I know that much. That's part of keeping my frequency undistorted. So let's see, what source? The Empath Oracle. I love this Oracle deck, and he has a book out too. I cannot remember the author off the top of my head. Forgive me for that. I apologize. Sledgehammer to the forehead. I do have the book right here, though. Let me see. Oh. Okay, Empath Oracle. It is by Raven Digitalis. And she, I don't know, I said he, I'm thinking it's a she. And she's also got a book out that I have not read yet. I'm trying to get caught up on my reading material. So it's a very beautiful deck. I really like it a lot. And Spirit's really on point with wanting to talk today because these cards are coming out fast. Even my meditation reading this morning came out quick. It was like, phew, all right. I mean, hardly any hand shuffling. So Source has got something to say. Wow. This couldn't be more on point. Well, I know this is backwards. I apologize. So this card is number 22. So 22 is a significant angel number, but it breaks down to 4. 4 is the number of, through the Chaldean numerology system, it's the number of Rahu, Uranus, which is the dragon's head, pure ego. In the 22 position, though, as 22, hold on, let me get my notes. 22 is the submission of the blinded fool. That's what the ego is, though. The ego is the submission of the blinded fool to the reality of the matrix. Just something to think about. So, and that's why in this 22, submission of the blinded fool as ruled by Uranus or Rahu, the ego, this card is examining the self-identity. How more appropriate is that to end this transmission on? Examining self-identity. That's what we're supposed to be doing, is examining our self-identity, living from our heart space, from our D4 heart space. Okay, who are you? Who are you meant to be? Only you know that answer. Only you can answer that question for yourself. Look how beautiful this card is. See how the reds and the pinks, so there's so much passion in this card. And pinks represent right relationship. And see the white of the divine. You see the blue of wisdom and the illumination of spirit, of the Holy Spirit, for lack of a better term. I use that because it's something that you guys can associate with terminology. But the Holy Spirit's a Sophionic spirit. That's what it is. Sophionic spirit. And ultimately the Sophionic spirit is your oversoul. Holy Spirit is your higher self. Your polar double. Okay. So, would you like me to read the definition of this card, Janae? Since you're the only one on. Yeah? Okay. I'm gonna assume you're unless I have a slow connection, so I don't know, maybe it's just not coming through yet. So 22, examining self-identity, and I'm doing this for you, Janae, because you're the one that's on here. So maybe this is meant for you personally at the moment, but this is a timeless channeling when it comes to the cards. Today is July 9th, 2026. However, when this finds you, it's meant for you in that moment. 22, come on. I forgot how to count all of a sudden. So 19, 20, 22, examining self-identity. So the essential themes of this card is questioning the role of labels and titles in your lives. Okay, that's what I've been talking about. Who are you really? Valuing our uniqueness and respecting that of others. That's important too. Self-identity. Who am I to me, and who are you to you? But having cooperation and respect for that. For my bubble is my bubble, your bubble is your bubble. But we can share bubbles in cooperation and collaboration and love and kindness and progress. So the imagery on this card, I will hold it up while I read it. So I got to switch hands for that. Okay. So looking at the card, we can see the imagery speaking to us on a deeply emotional level. Something very significant drawing this card communicates is that we must remember we are our own emotional being. We are our own emotional beings. We are not simply a product of absorbing emotions from outside sources. We are incredible generators of emotional energy. Incredible generators of emotional energy. And as empaths, that's why they feed off of us. So this is why it sometimes becomes difficult to discern our emotions from others that we may have absorbed. And if we slow down and we learn how to be in rest and digest and manually biohack our nervous system to be in safe mode, you don't take on other people's stuff as much either, because you have your filter on. Your energetic filter is on when you are in safe mode. That's the point of being in safe mode is. Wow, that just came to me. That was a full download. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Source, for intelligent enlightenment, epiphanies. I love that. So deeper meaning of this card. Modern culture is a big fan of labels and identities, right? On one hand, this can be empowering for a person who has struggled to belong all their life. Look at the term empath, for example. What an empowering term. This term helps us understand our nature, although for some people it sets them apart from others. Keep in mind that everyone is empathic to one degree or another. This is our biology, our physiology. This leads me to say that we cannot blame everything in our lives on being an empath any more than we can on what our zodiac sign is, right? Labels don't have to be divisive, okay? We are not separate. It is encouraging that in so many cultures we are allowed to be ourselves and identify as who we feel ourselves to truly be. It has been a long, hard road to establish the reality of diversity in the modern world. No thanks to Abrahamic religions. That's in the book. Excuse me. What was that? Okay. Naturally, this still comes with social challenges and, well, it is simply part of the territory. Sometimes it takes time and compassion to bring others to our level and to help them understand. The term ego is not necessarily a negative one. If someone is egotistical, that's different. The ego itself, psychologically, relates to our self-identity. There is nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us because it is part of our beautiful rainbow of human nature. As long as no one is being harmed, we should feel the allowance to proudly be ourselves, whoever we are. Gender, racial, and sexual orientational variances are part of the rainbow spectrum that we are finally beginning to socially align with in this day and age. However, this card is not restricted to these things and will pertain to different meanings for different readers or clients who draw this card. So for suggestions for action, So when mindfully looking at our emotional state at any given time, we have the opportunity to think back on our experiences to see which emotional responses are our own, maybe some of them are unconsciously based or trauma responses, and which of them seem foreign. It takes some time, but with enough self-awareness, we can figure out what belongs to us and what belongs to others. We can peacefully release external emotions, energy with light and care. This is how we more seamlessly come into ourselves for who we are in this lifetime. Labels and identities are fleeting. If you wish to call yourself an empath or any other thing, do it. Nearly everyone has empath capability and potential. And if you feel as though you experience empathy to a greater ability than most others, why not use the term? It can be empowering and affirming. The same goes for other terms that a person uses in their life. Ultimately, this card encourages us to examine the labels we use, why we use them, their influence on others, and how accurately our proclaimed identities fit our current incarnations and life lessons. Right? And with that, our labels and identities change throughout our lives, right? Who you were and you labeled yourself as when you were a teenager is not who you are and who you label yourself as today. Some of us today, like you and I, Janae, are grandparents. We're grandmothers today. That's a label that has changed, that we didn't carry our whole lives, right? So they change throughout our life cycles. It is our job to show up in our moments, our now moments, in the present moment of our own life, and figure out who we are. What is our ego? Our ego is not something to be feared. It's not something to be erased. It's not something to be deleted. It's something to be understood. It is something to be integrated into our identity. And what is your ego trying to tell you? Through the fear, through the protection, through the identity crisis that the ego is and has been in our whole life, right? So I love you. I love everybody here. Janae, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea how much your presence means to me here and supporting me. And thank you. I appreciate you more than you know. And I hope that you do the research. I hope that you take this stuff to heart and not just in supporting me in love, like I know you are. I know that you're supporting me in love, but to actually resonate with what I say and learn the techniques that I'm talking about, because I speak these things in love, and because I want to help humanity become the best versions of themselves, and that includes you. And these techniques are on point. And if you are an indigo child, which I think you are, we're almost birthday twins, so I'm almost certain that you are, then you're already online. You just need to stabilize your DNA. You just need to stabilize it and learn how. It's not hard to do. Simple light and sounds. Frequency baths. Sleep. If you can put a big speaker in your room, and make sure you're not sleeping with your devices in your room either. That doesn't help. But if you put a speaker in your room, preferably a wired one that you can plug into the wall, that's not completely wireless, and find one of those sound bath all night things on YouTube and play it as loud as you are able to without disturbing your household or your neighbors. And under your, at the edge of your bed where you can feel it vibrating in your bed, and sound frequencies while you're sleeping. It'll help a lot. And get yourself a grounding mat if you don't have one already. It'll help with the seizures, and it'll help with your physical pain. So with that being said, I love you, and have a very, very, very blessed day. Love and light. I'll see you tomorrow.